all right. Okay. Good. Light is looking good. Background is all right. I'm sorry about it. I'm just a perfectionist. Anyway, get myself some courage boost, which means gotta put the hoodie on. And now I think I'm set. All right. Today's topic is gonna be called unscriptedness. So everything you're hearing and watching or seeing right now is something I haven't planned at all, and I'm going to try my best not to edit out anything, even my blunders, so you can see in real time, okay, maybe not in real time, but in the real shot, the raw shot, how many mistakes I make and how many I would be removing if you watch my other videos. Anyway, unscriptedness. How did it come about? Well, we all watch YouTube more than we watch Netflix and all the other kinds of entertainment media. And we spend a lot of time on social media and we watch TikTok and all that kind of stuff. We see many people who are professionals at communicating, articulating themselves and bringing points across that are dear to their hearts or just points that they want to share with others and, you know, kind of have an exchange of opinions to get to an even greater kind of mentality or conclusion or whatsoever their goal might be. The thing is, those people seem so professional to the point that they forget about how insanely professional they seem. And they're still authentic, but the thing is, they just do it like that. And I kept on asking myself, like, I know I can do that when it's about things that really interest me. Music, art, drawing is also art, like fitness, training, martial arts, movies, series, talking about all those kinds of things. When I start talking to someone who I vibe with, well, Lord, have mercy on them, because the thing is, when I start talking about things that I like and that I really put my heart into, that I have a passion for, I really feel sorry for whoever is listening or is trying to stay throughout the whole talk and pull off some active listening, because it's very, I'm worse than the most boring professors you've ever gotten to know. Anyone who knows me will attest to that. But the thing is, that is when I'm with one person or in private, or I already know the people. When it comes to using the camera and speaking in front of the camera like I am doing right now with you, it's a different story. I'm thinking about what you're thinking about. I'm thinking about how I look towards you. I'm thinking about if my words are coming across the way they should. I'm thinking about if you like me just by having viewed me for the past 3 minutes. And that's stupid, right? But that's how I am. That's how humans are, I think, most of them. And then I start envying these people who can just do it like that. I mean, they don't even script anything. I'll say channels like Aber and Preach, yeah? Oh, channels like Diary of a CEO. They have questions that they want to ask because they prepared for it beforehand. But most of the talk throughout each episode and session, let it be Joe Rogan, Diary of a CEO, Dan Coe, most of the things that they do, they're not completely scripted. There is some improv to some extent. Well, let me say the food tour, The Future, I think is what it's called. The Asian guy with a bald head that looks like One Punch Man with specs. Really cool. Gary Vaynerchuk, his channel, or The Valuetainment, all those guys, they have something about them that makes them so authentic in a way that they can start talking about cabbages and carrots and you will still stay and listen to them because they are so invested and so authentic, and they have so much experience on how to communicate, how to pace themselves, how to deal with their voice, how to add in some kind of rhythmic flow to how they are speaking. What am I talking about? Comedians are really good at this. Cat Williams, Bernie Mac, Def Jam Comedy Club, all those guys from back then. How about Matt Rife, the young comedian? People like Eddie Murphy. What's his name again? I've forgotten the name, but you know, all those kinds of comedians. They have mastered something called communication, mixed with some improvising to a level of, let me say, God mode. I would say God mode because I myself know what it's like to have stage fright. You've seen it or you've experienced it to some kind of point, and you feel like 2 days before it happens, you're like, it's okay, I've already prepared, I've done everything I can, even though it's already something scripted and you already know what you're going to be presenting or what you're going to be dealing with or what you're going to be acting out in the theater as a play for people to watch and people who are coming. You're already aware of all those things and the surrounding elements. It gets to one day, to that point, even to examinations, you're like, you know what, I'll wing it, I'll do something about it, don't be too nervous, keep your cool, do your best. On the day that it's supposed to be happening, you start chickening out. I mean, I chicken out till to the last minute when it's supposed to be happening, and I'm asking myself, what the fuck am I doing right here? Anyway, thing is, we all survive those moments. What did the Buddhists say? That too shall pass. That is my only one and only mantra that I keep on doing all the time, keep on using all the time. Now, let's get to today's topic, unscriptedness. I was preparing to go to bed some 20 minutes ago. So I sat there, I was like, oh yeah, I could start meditating right now. But then I thought to myself, have I made a video for this week? Am I going to stay consistent with the challenges set for myself for the remaining 2 months or 1.5 months of the year? Will I take this YouTube thing serious enough to continue making videos each week? At least 2 videos. Let me say, if I'm really sick and I can't do anything else, let me just say 1 video per week, period, for the next coming months and years. Will I stick to it? And how will I know that I'm going to stick to it? And then something came in my mind. You know what? Why don't you make a video about exactly your fears right now in this moment? And I'll be like, yeah. Then I was like, but hey, how can I make a video? I mean, all my videos till now have been to deliver my messages on point, structured, well-paced, scripted, and planned out from beginning to the end. I even knew the minutes where I'm going to just be taking a break, and then I'll cut it and then start filming again. And then my inner voice was like, yeah, that would be great. That would be great. It will take you a lot of time, and you being a perfectionist, yet you can't really create something that's always perfect or will ever be perfect because there'll always be something to criticize about your videos. Why don't you just make a video about that? I was like, inner voice, you know me just too well. I can't make a video about not scripting anything about the video I am making. That doesn't make sense. That's not me. So I started even stutter while talking to my inner voice. My inner voice was like, yeah, bitch. I'm like, what? It was like, yeah, you're a bitch. I'm like, I ain't no bitch. I'm just being cautious, rational, giving you some logical arguments. We don't want to look like a fool out there for the people who are going to be watching it. And he kept on saying, yeah, pussy, bitch, asshole, dumbass, chicken. Like, you ain't gonna call me no chicken, stupid. I can do this if I want to. It's just that I'm choosing not to. And it's like, yeah, well, then prove it. I'm like, you ain't gonna dare me on my own turf of, like, I come from the world of media. I had my bachelor in design, communication design, and I'm like, you ain't gonna dare me in something that I actually enjoy doing and think that you're gonna get away with it and make me look like a fool to my own self. That doesn't make sense. And it was like, yeah, whatever, pussy. I'm like, this nigga. I have to prove him wrong. So I got up, brushed my teeth, drank some water, wrote down the most crucial and most important notes about what was going through my head at that moment and what had led to it and to the title of the video, which is just one single note, this one single paper. I don't know if you can see it, but let me just show you. See that? It's saying unscriptedness and just some little stuff. I wrote it so fast that my handwriting looks ugly on it, but can't do anything about that. So I came upstairs and started recording myself about this topic, unscriptedness. As you can see, I'm already fighting against my inner voice because it's like, hi, you look stupid, you look ridiculous, look at you stuttering, you've forgotten what you want to say. What are you going to do next? Are you going to start talking about nonsense that isn't connected to the topic? What are you going to do next? How are you going to keep yourself calm? Did that extra courage from putting on your hood help you at all? And I'm like, this guy ought to shut the fuck up. I just want to record and say something. So, thanks to this little note here, I can carry on with the most important things. You've seen my dilemma. You remember the movie James Cameron's Avatar, the first part, when the guy was asked by the admiral to be a double spy, and if all went well, he would get his physique back with the working lower body part, which means he could walk again due to the technology. It would be given to him as a present for having given the admiral the necessary information on how to get to the resources of the planet with force or without force. And if with force, what would be the best way to strike against the natives who are the Navi. Now, as he was working with the scientists, he had to make a log every day. No matter how tired he was, no matter how drained he was from having used the avatar, he had to get back to reality and start filming his thoughts about the experiences he had and what his deductions were from those experiences and his original take as the experiencer. Now, that put me in the position of sitting on the bed, thinking to myself, I could go to sleep, I could meditate, I could draw, I could write something, I could script out something really fast to make a short video, but what for? The moment that counts is now, was that moment when I was having that idea of don't script anything, film yourself, and then go show the world what it looks like when you don't script anything. I mean, that's a challenge, right? Yeah. I'm telling you, I was way more motivated when I got off the bed. It was like the sun was shining out of my ass, is what the Germans would say. Sonne scheint dir aus dem Arsch vor einer tollen Idee, because of a very good idea. But then I thought to myself, this is gonna be really tough. And it is tough. I'm really you can't feel what I'm feeling right now, but I'm fighting against myself, literally, in my heart. Everyone who knows me knows that I have to plan everything out. I have to have a list for everything. I have no fucking list. I just have some stupid words and questions on this thing with a so-called little framing of a conclusion of what the video is going to be ending like. And that's tough. But I'm also learning from my previous videos that I made that I have a certain kind of repertoire and, let me say, a knowledge base of how to act, how to position myself, how to use my voice, how to speak, how to always focus and look at you, who is looking at me through the camera, so that I don't lose at least the captivating parts of this video whilst I'm yapping on with the gibberish that's going through my head and showing you exactly what that might look like when you try to do something unscripted for the first time, most especially for people out there like you who might be a perfectionist, which I am. And we all know perfection is something like art. It literally lies in the eyes of the spectator, the viewer. They decide if it's perfect or not. Now, we all have our internal perfectionism where we do some things to a point that we feel like, okay, it's not perfect, but it's okay to show to other people, which is like perfect to other people, but to us, it's not yet there. And then there's some people with their standards so high that even our highest standards are just like crap. I just blew all that out of my mind and decided to roll with it. Meaning, recording without having a fear in the world that it might get to some people. I know it's going to be watched by maybe 1, 2, 3 grandmas and kids and people of all ages, which might resonate with some people like, hey, making videos, not being scripted, how do you do that? If you were expecting a how-to, it's not exactly a how-to. It's more like a documentation of what it looks like when you don't do it. And if you see things that you don't like, and you feel like you can do better by leaving certain things out or watching out for certain things that I have been doing throughout this video, the past 17 minutes, then feel free to do so, because that's the most important part of it. It's not a direct how-to, it's more like an experience of what might be coming your way. Anyway, I asked myself, how do people overcome their fears when you're not scripting anything? The conclusion I have come to is you need to have an inkling of an idea, something that comes from deep down within yourself. And you feel like, I gotta get this out. You can put it on paper. You can have it on some recording by a smartphone or a recorder. But nothing beats just hitting the record button on your camera and then turning it into some kind of log that you have to make, just like the guy from James Cameron's Avatar, where he had no other choice but to just do just that, so that the scientists could use that data, and later on, for generations to come, they would understand the evolution of being an experiencer who uses an avatar, and then how you assimilate more and more of your reality to the reality of the avatar as you interact with the natives, and then mix realities into a perfect hybridization of a reality where everything is part of your identity. Now, you get the idea that you have to get out. It comes like a wave within you, and you're like, yeah, I can talk about that, but how do I do it? And the people who just do most of the unscripted videos, they react to something, they talk about something that was reacted to, or the topic is about something that brings about a reaction. Those are the 3 states. React to something, talk about something that was reacted to, as in giving an opinion and reviewing it, or literally talking about something that causes a reaction due to the way they talk about it. I can't frame it any better than that, so sorry about that. Now, you also have to pour your heart into this, whatever you want to talk about, XYZ. You pour your heart into it, and before you do that, you have to ask yourself, is it important enough to you? Is it something that is unique to the moment, that you know that if you don't write it down or if you don't get it out, you will not have the same kind of framework around it to be able to convey it the exact same way as you could have in the moment you had it? Then that is something you have to do something about without having to script the shit out of it and make a whole plan that might take you a day, weeks, or even months, or maybe never. And yeah, it has to have your unique thoughts in it, which means you have to really care about it so much that it makes you feel good when you even think about trying to share it. That's the second thing, sharing. Now, when you're sharing it, you share it in a way that is important to you, that when you look at it later on, it's like, oh yeah, I let it all out. I was flowing. I was rolling. It's like Jesus Christ. It's like, let me say, the Holy Ghost and Spirit was coming down, speaking through you in the name of the Lord, or whatever the pastors would say in the American churches. So passively, you are caring and also contributing to the greater good of all humans, and you're helping people out there who are at the same point you were at minutes ago or ages ago, when you hadn't yet had that unique moment. And when you know that there's a treasure in it, it holds some kind of heaviness, some weight, because of the message you're trying to get across, then that, my friend, is something you need to talk about unscripted. You need to share unscripted. You need to make a video of unscripted. You need to make a podcast of unscripted. You don't need to plan everything from A to B or A to Z, depending on how far you want to go. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be the next Jordan Peterson or some stand-up comedian master of communication, Dave Chappelle, or I don't know, Sadiq, I think is his name. You don't need to be like all those comedians. You just need to be yourself. Convey yourself as in talk about whatever you want to talk about that is dear to your heart, that is very important to you, and carries a weight of importance to others, as in it will contribute to others, help others in one way or another, meaning that you see yourself in the others, and as you were them, you would have wished to have that kind of information. And now that you have put it out in the world, it is your contribution to not letting someone else who was in your same position go through the same things, and maybe they mightn't even get to that same kind of moment to be able to put something out, but you have done that for them. And then humans are like this. When someone does that, the other one does that, the other one does that, the other one does that, and then we all together do something like that, and we are like building skyscrapers in all ways, on all levels. We might get a bit destructive at times because that's who we are, but most of the times 80% I feel like is positive, which is actually really good. And that keeps me having hope in humanity. And it is humanity itself, or humans themselves, that are so inspiring, that I see on TikTok, YouTube, social media, even literally in mainstream at times, the little times they do show them. It is those humans in general, the human populace, that inspire me, make me laugh, make me feel happy and proud to be a human, giving me the courage, in addition to this hoodie, to be able to put out this kind of a video that is totally unscripted, and I am going to hate myself for not having scripted anything, but it's gonna be hard. Now I'm going to end this with fun and authenticity, with a bit of eagerness and an importance, like as if your life depended on it. Okay, let's not get too dramatic. Like as if it was an assignment from your imaginary boss and you have to do it either way. Once you start it, because the start is very hard, it's the hardest part, you'll get into a point of, oh yeah, now it's working, oh yeah, now it's rolling, and all of a sudden the fun will be so much that you forget about all those things, and suddenly you're like, hey, this is good. You look around, turn around, and then time has passed so fast you didn't even recognize it. No, you didn't even, what do they call it? When time passes so fast that you don't even notice it. Exactly, notice is the word I was looking for. You won't even be able to notice how fast time flies by when you're having fun and you're being authentic, your true self, putting yourself out there, overcoming fears, feeling good about yourself, overcoming fears in the moment that you're doing that, and then at the same time being someone who is contributing to everyone else's lives, at least those who feel like they could gain something from it. Knowing that in the back of your mind gives you a boost to even want to go on farther, and that puts you in a state of flow. Flow means that you just zoning and owning, and you're fully present in the moment doing that one thing, and that's the greatest thing about it. I mean, I have just learned this lesson whilst doing this video right now, and you can't see it. I bet my armpits are super sweaty, and my voice might have been shaky throughout the video, but I'm through. I'm done with my message, and it feels good. It's off my heart. And I have another video for the week, which is, it's literally my first video for this week, and it's something I can look back at and be like, ah yeah, I was so young, I was such a noob back then, but I'm happy I got it out, because I can see myself evolving throughout it. And I bet for the videos to come, I won't need to script so much as I have been doing till now, and I'll be saving so much time. I'll be having more fun. I'll be open to blunders and mistakes and things that happen naturally without having to remove them or edit them or over edit something to make it look too good to a point that it doesn't feel human at all. The human aspect, the being natural, the being authentic is, let me say, coated over with a hint of too much technicality, too much perfectionism, too much scriptedness. Yeah, so do your best. Get some courage. Get yourself a hoodie. Put it on your head. It literally helps me have more courage. That's why I do it when I feel like I'm super afraid of something. I've always been doing this ever since I was a child. So yeah, get yourself a boost of courage and look at this video and see me fighting against myself, and maybe it will help you have more zest and zealousness or toughness to tough out the fight against your inner perfectionist, to just be able to roll with the moment, be present, and then do your thing and put your message out there. For the future people to come, generations, legacy, leave something behind. And yeah, also is a good way to study yourself and, you know, work on that to get better in the future. I mean, I wouldn't have done all this if I hadn't forced myself to not script. Normally I have like, 5 or 6. And for now, I just had this little guy here. So it's a long video. What should I say? That's all I wanted to say anyways. And yeah, feel free to have fun with trying out yourself on unscriptedness. And yeah, wish you luck. Have fun. I'm going to go to bed right now. I know I won't be able to sleep because I am so fucking excited. My whole nervous system is like... But yeah, I'll calm down. I'm gonna read some manhwa or manga, calm down a bit. And then when I feel like I'm getting tired is when I'll just, get into the bed, slip under the bed sheets, and then off to the next day. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening and thanks for your attention. Like, subscribe. I'm not yet so good with the comment thing, but if there's a comment, I'll rejoice and then answer. So tune in for the next one, hopefully this week, and have yourself a nice week. Bye-bye.